Hey everyone, it's me, Lauren, again, and today's episode, I just kind of wanted to recap on a couple of things that I mentioned in my last video, and then just also give an update. So, first of all, the book that I've been reading is called Exposing the Spiritual Roots of Autoimmune Disease by Dr. Henry Wright. This was something that I just found on Amazon, and I was just looking for something spiritual relating to what I was going through and relating to healing as well. And because I just, there's something in my spirit that just kind of, and I was thinking about this yesterday, it's just like something in my spirit is kind of like fighting it, like just knowing that like God has the power to heal me and nothing is impossible with him. And the book to me was just kind of encouraging. It's just a good reminder that like, with God all things are possible. And that's not to say that, oh, like, you know he's obviously putting doctors in my path for a reason, right? So it's not like anti-medicine, anti-doctor. It's not that kind of thing. But it's just the knowledge of the Bible, what the Word says, and how that applies in your faith, especially in your walk with these types of diseases. So yeah, there's that, and then I've been looking, or I've been watching this really cool podcast called The Deep End with Taylor. I forgot his name, but Taylor and Jake, and they had on this guest that was a doctor, and he did like he was super experienced. He's from Louisiana, and he does experience with like chiropractic and also like quantum like kinetics or something like that. And he just had like a lot of knowledge, and it was so cool to like hear that nerdy side of it, but also like the faith side of it as well. And his whole thing was like your body can heal itself, and they kind of help you. Their services kind of like help your body do that, and yeah, it's like faith based as well. So it's just interesting how God's putting like a bunch of resources um, in my path as the journey continues. Because, yeah, like I said in my last episode, He wants me to walk on the waves and not just to be shaken around in the boat helplessly or just riding the wave. So I'm just trying to really use my faith to empower myself through this journey. Um, and so, as far as the update goes, I was talking about that, what I was just mentioning with my husband today, and, just talking about, hey, I'm going to be empowered with my faith and not, you just kind of sit on the sidelines and have that blind faith type of approach. And then I got a call today from the OHSU transplant RN coordinator, and it was unexpected because the previous nurse told me that it would be about like 3 to 6 weeks before I hear anything from him, but it's really only been like two. So things are kind of moving fast, which is great. I had a good conversation with them. I learned about just how your support person can't be your donor, which makes sense, but for some reason I didn't think about that. Um, but also just like the process in general, I think, and just like how far away you need to be whenever you get the call, or what happens if you need to go on vacation, or something like that, which in that case they would just put you in active and then reactivate you once you're back from vacation. So it's really just about communicating. I was also kind of like interested in that question because we're kind of thinking about moving to Missouri in the St. Louis Chesterfield area. And I didn't mention that on this call, but it's just something that I was kind of feeling it out, through talking about vacation. But it would be something I would need to like communicate with my team for sure, with my transplant team. But other than that, yeah, it was a pretty brief call, I would say. They're gonna get, as far as the next thing is concerned, they have to get approval from insurance, and that usually takes about a week. So then they'll get me scheduled for a evaluation. It's a pretty thorough evaluation. It's gonna take all day, and that'll be sometime in September, is kind of what he said. Um, and then if I'm approved from my evaluation, that's when I get on the list. So fingers crossed. Seemed like glad for me not having to be on dialysis or anything yet. So, which I'm glad for that too. I feel like God, going back to the spiritual side of things, I feel like God has definitely shielded me from a lot of things like that. Even though I'm kind of angry that, like, why didn't this get caught sooner? I had all these doctor's appointments and, like, nobody ever caught it. And I even went to a bladder specialist because, there was blood in my urine and I was just trying to shoot at the hip, trying to figure it out. So even though I'm angry, it's just kind of like, God's moving things along, God's putting things in my path. And so, I can't be too mad about where I am right now because He shielded me from a lot of like the swelling side of things and dialysis. And He's definitely giving me the ability to control, my diet and stuff like that. So, anyway, I'm trying to think. So it's really just a matter of waiting and making sure I pick up the phone, and they're going to give me this packet, and I have to take this class and take a quiz on transplant, and my support person will have to do that as well. So I also need to find a backup support person. I got like this binder to keep everything in because you have to bring like your paperwork and stuff like that to the evaluation, which they're gonna do like heart, like EKGs. They're gonna do, I think, a colonoscopy maybe, and then other tests. What did they say? I have my notes here. Let's see, a lot of blood tests, and then let's see here, a chest and pelvic x-ray and a bladder ultrasound. And so, yeah, it's gonna be a full day right there. But it's good that it's one day because it makes everything else more convenient. As far as vaccinations is concerned, they don't require flu vaccination or COVID vaccination, which they used to require that, which I'm thankful that they don't because I'm not currently vaccinated for COVID. And there's some other shingles, I think is one of them. But I think my only one that I need to get is the pneumonia vaccination. So I should be pretty caught up with my vaccinations. But those are just some things that I'll have to do at the site. But yeah, I feel like this process is moving a lot faster than what I expected. I asked them about like wait time for a kidney, and obviously it's shorter for a living donor, but for a deceased donor, it just all depends on how quickly they can find a match for you or for me. And they said they're going to try for it ASAP, and he noted that I was, in the very early stages of transplant, like my kidney function hasn't gotten as bad as I guess he probably sees a lot of people with worse kidney function. So, anyway, I felt really encouraged after that, and I felt like, definitely God's moving things along, and everything else will kind of fall into place. So I'm just kind of trying to be patient. Anyway, I just want to give y'all an update on that real quick, and I'll keep you posted as the journey continues.